A nation grieves, sadness hits Jeju Air Flight 2216. The entire country is in mourning as the tragic news spreads. On December 29, 2024, Jeju Air Flight 2216, a Boeing 737-800 crashed while trying to land at Muan International Airport. The flight, which had been routine up until that point, suddenly turned into a nightmare. The flight from Bangkok with 181 people on board ended in a terrible fire. Flames engulfed the wreckage, making rescue efforts extremely difficult. This is the worst plane crash in South Korea's history. The scale of the disaster has left the nation in shock and disbelief. The news spread quickly, leaving families worried and unsure. Many rushed to the airport and hospitals, hoping for any news about their loved ones. People desperately called hotlines trying to find out about their loved ones. The emergency call centers were overwhelmed with the volume of inquiries. The crash site became a sad reminder of how easily life can be lost. Memorials were quickly set up to honor the victims. The South Korean government started a big investigation promising to find out what happened. Officials assured the public that they would leave no stone unturned. People from all over the world sent their condolences and support to the grieving nation. Messages of sympathy poured in from every corner of the globe, showing solidarity in this time of sorrow. Jeju Air Flight 2216 started its trip from Bangkok's Suvarnabhumi Airport. The day was bright and sunny, and the passengers were excited for their journey. The crew was well prepared, and the plane was in top condition. Everything seemed normal at first. Passengers were settling into their seats, some chatting, others reading or napping. The takeoff was smooth, and the plane ascended into the clear blue sky. The Boeing 737-800 took off, carrying families, vacationers, and other people. The flight attendants began their service, offering drinks and snacks to the passengers. As the flight went on, a strange quiet filled the plane. The usual hum of conversation died down and an uneasy feeling began to spread among the passengers. As they got closer to Muan International Airport, the first problems started. The plane began to shake slightly, and the passengers could feel the tension in the air. The pilot said a bird might have hit the plane, making passengers afraid. The announcement was meant to be reassuring, but it only heightened the sense of dread. A few moments later, a mayday call showed how serious things were. The pilot's voice was calm but urgent, and the passengers knew something was very wrong. The plane struggled to stay in the air. It was buffeted by strong winds, and the turbulence made it difficult for the pilot to control the aircraft. Even though the pilot tried very hard, the plane fell to the ground. The descent was rapid and terrifying, and the passengers braced for impact. It was a terrifying sight. The wreckage was scattered across the ground, and emergency responders rushed to the scene to help the survivors. After the crash, there was a little bit of hope. 2 crew members were rescued from the fire. They were still alive. This gave some hope during a very sad time. They were quickly taken to the hospital and became symbols of hope for a nation dealing with a lot of loss. A big search and rescue effort began at the crash site. Emergency workers searched through the wreckage, hoping to find more survivors. Experts worked hard to identify the victims so their families could have some closure. Section 4. Solving the mystery. Figuring out why Flight 2216 crashed. This section delves into the meticulous process undertaken by experts to uncover the truth behind the tragic event. After the crash, many countries worked together to find out what happened. International aviation experts convened at a global aviation safety conference to share their insights and collaborate on the investigation. The black box, which was found in the wreckage, held important information about the final moments of the flight. This crucial device recorded the cockpit conversations and flight data, providing invaluable clues. Investigators carefully looked at every piece of evidence. They conducted a thorough forensic analysis of the airplane wreckage, examining each fragment to piece together the sequence of events. They thought the bird strike might have been part of the problem, as bird remains were found on the aircraft engine. This led them to consider the possibility of a bird strike causing engine failure. But they also looked at other things. The team of investigators considered multiple factors, discussing various pieces of evidence to ensure no stone was left unturned. They looked at whether the plane had mechanical problems, scrutinizing the maintenance records and inspecting aircraft components for any signs of malfunction or wear and tear. If the pilot made a mistake, analyzing the pilot's actions and decisions during the flight. They even used flight simulation training sessions to recreate the scenario and understand the pilot's perspective, and what the weather was like. They reviewed weather reports and radar data to determine if severe weather conditions played a role in the crash. The goal was to prevent similar crashes in the future, so the lives lost would not be wasted. By understanding the causes, they aimed to improve aviation safety and honor the memory of the victims. Section 5. After the crash, Jeju Air, South Korea, and the world deal with the tragedy. The crash had a big impact on the airline industry, especially in South Korea. The government promised to make airplane safety rules better. Jeju Air had to work hard to fix its reputation and earn back the trust of the people. The airline promised to help with the investigation. The crash affected people all over the world. It started a global discussion about airplane safety, and airlines and regulators started looking at their rules again. They wanted to find new ways to make flying safer.